Hey, it's Dr. Blake Williamson from Williamson Eye Center, and I'm so excited to be here with Stephen Mumford, the COO of the Baton Rouge General Medical Center. We've been trying to do this forever, and this is the first
Yeah,
time with COVID that we could actually meet, both vaccinated and socially distant. So it's fantastic that we actually can spend time talking
absolutely.
about you and your sort of experience as a patient here at
Yeah,
Williamson. So thank you.
yeah,
The first thing I want to say is what a pleasure it's been to be on campus here at Baton Rouge General. When we're looking for a new flagship, we know we wanted to be, partnered with somebody who is forward-thinking and who all the whole town looks to for top-notch medical care. And Baton Rouge General was a wonderful place for us. So thank you for allowing us to be here. How has the experience been for you guys having a full-scale ophthalmology, team right here on campus?
it's been wonderful. We've had such great feedback from our employees in particular because a lot of our employees had vision needs, and a lot of them just needed a place that they could slip away from at lunchtime, get a quick exam, get what they need, and get back to work. And you guys have made that vision a reality. It's just extremely convenient. This facility is just beautiful, state of the art. The vision that you and your father had for this place came to life, in conjunction with your team and our team, and it's just been a really cool thing. And then obviously having ophthalmologists on site to help us with our hospital needs and our patients and our inpatient units. In fact, last week we had a patient that was in need, and we had a physician from Williamson Eye there within 15 minutes to see that patient. And so I don't think any of that's a reality without this partnership. So we want to thank you guys as well for being great partners to Baton Rouge General.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I mean, the ability for our employees to have primary care right next door for our patients who are coming in for cataract surgery and things like that. They need they need to have their diabetes managed, and now we can send them right next door if they don't have a PCP. So it's been fantastic for us too. So when you came in to talk to me, we were talking about vision correction because you were back in glasses. You had tried contacts before, maybe worked for a while, then stopped working, or you didn't care for them as much, and glasses with the fogging. And he's like, man, is there a solution? And the challenge was you'd already had LASIK
Yeah.
years ago. So talk about your first procedure.
Yeah, so I'm a 20-year-old LASIK case. Dr. Stephen Brent did my LASIK when I was 20 years old in New Orleans. Very reputable surgeon, did a great job. I had a great result, and just over time, unfortunately, my prescription changed of no fault of his. Just these things happen, and I had always thought that this was a one-and-done type of procedure, and that you could never have vision correction surgery again because of the corneal thickness, and that you could potentially lose too much corneal thickness, and that could create problems down the road. And so I had talked to some people in some of the circles of friends that I run in, and I was told that there may be another option for you, and that's what Williamson Eye specializes in, is that it's not a one size fits all, and that there is a vision correction surgery option for everybody, no matter whether you're 20 years old, 40-year-old, 60-year-old. And so I said, well, it's a free consultation. Why not do it? And that's how I got hooked up with you, and the rest is kind of history. So.
Yeah, Stephen, you bring up such a good point about the idea of vision changing. One of the biggest myths with LASIK is that LASIK wears off. And in fact, that's not true. But what does happen is the rest of the eye, the other 99% that we're not operating on with LASIK, that does age. And
Yeah.
so your vision does change over time. And so what the good thing about that is we now have solutions to treat that, right? So whether that be a lens-based procedure like a custom lens replacement, sometimes if patients are already at cataract age, maybe in their 50s or 60s, perhaps we're talking about cataract surgery to restore vision. But in your case, you're still a young, healthy guy. You're not in reading glasses or anything like that yet. So we talked about PRK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Talk
so
about that procedure.
Yeah, so PRK, it's I would say LASIK-like, but it's a little bit different. And what was great about Williamson Eye was I knew exactly what to expect. And you and I talked about the differences between PRK and LASIK, and that you actually don't make an incision in the cornea and flap the cornea like you would do in LASIK. Instead, you kind of shave off that top layer of the cornea and laser directly on. And as a result of that, the recovery is a little bit different. It's not as fast as LASIK, but the end result is exactly the same. And I'm sitting here with 2016 vision, and I'm not even 90 days out yet, and my vision is still improving. So, it's been great, and it's deemed, and you can speak more to this, it's safe for most people that have already had LASIK because it doesn't take the the corneal thickness that the LASIK does. And so, in fact, I still have plenty of corneal thickness after my second procedure.
So the interesting thing is that PRK is almost 20% of the procedures that I do, and it's fantastic results. It's the same laser, it's the same end result. The post-op recovery is longer. People are a little bit less comfortable, and it takes a little while longer for the vision to come in, which we'll talk about during the consultation. But at that end point, when you're 3 months out, you get sort of this benefit that you have, and it's just good for people to hear you kind of go through this arc of vision correction. And it kind of speaks to our theme that we talk a lot about having a vision plan for life, right? So you touched on that. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s or you're in your 60s. If the goal is to reduce your need for contacts and glasses, we have a vision plan for life. So maybe just kind of give your thoughts on if there's someone out there who is, thinking about having another vision correction procedure, what would be your recommendation to them?
Yeah, I would tell them to come see you because that's what I did. And we didn't just say, hey, we can fix your vision right now. We talked about my vision plan for life and my desire to not be dependent on contacts or glasses ever again. And you and I talked about other things that could potentially be an option down the road, 20 years from now, if needed, that I would never have to wear glasses again. It's a free consultation. You really have nothing to lose. And I think what people will learn is that there are a lot of other tools in the toolbox that they may not necessarily know about from when they had their initial, vision correction procedure. It's just a lot has changed, and it continues to change. And you and I even talked before I had my PRK was, you could potentially do this in 20 years if you need it, but by then it'll be better than it is today. And so for that reason alone, it makes sense for people, to come have that consultation.
Yeah. I think that vision correction can be, any type of surgery is scary, but vision correction when it's on your eyes is always scary. So, the opportunity for people to hear from someone like you about all these experiences goes a long way in making them feel secure and at least coming in for a consultation. So thank you so much for talking with us today.
Yeah, absolutely.